Though the Biden administration would like to tell you that inflation is going down because they base what they are claiming off of simply the gas prices, what you won't hear them talking about is the price of food is still up, and you also won't hear them talking about rent very much. They're damn sure going to stay away from talking about cars, but you're really not going to hear them talking about one of the most important things, which is rent. You type up housing crisis or rent crisis, either one, and you're going to get something that looks like this. So let's see, New York Times, it was the housing crisis epicenter. Now the Sun Belt is an inflation vanguard. So they're saying that if you live in the Sun Belt, inflation is very high. Then this one, housing crisis prompts state of emergency in Lake Worth Beach. Be prepared for higher rents. Housing crisis continues in West Michigan. The snowballing U.S. rental crisis is sparing nowhere and no one. There's no escaping the housing crisis. How landlords are evading taxes and fueling the housing crisis. All right, let's read this one right here. The snowballing U.S. rental. Let's just look at this one real quick. A Las Vegas bartender coping with a recent cancer diagnosis is fearing eviction. A young professional in Tuscan is skipping car payments to afford her higher rent. Well, here's my question. First of all, what kind of car you got? And second of all, you may have to sell it if the rent is that bad. Either that or you may have to start like an OnlyFans or something. Okay, a researcher in Miami signed the lease for her new apartment sight unseen. Rental costs in the U.S. are soaring at the fastest pace in more than 3 decades, surpassing a median of $2,000 a month for the first time. Rent is more than $2,000 a month. You know, it's funny, when I watch these old movies from the 80s and the 90s, you remember like when they talk about rent in the movies, they talk about how much it costs, like the realistic number is like $700, $800 a month tops, $2,000 a month. Now, the mortgages that were on both of my houses, which were less than $300,000, the mortgages were less than $2,000. So you got people right now for these little ass apartments in a basement somewhere spending more than I spent on a 1,500 square foot or 2,000 square foot house. That's crazy. So, let's see. Increases are partially steep in metropolitan areas that saw large influxes of new residents during the pandemic. But the rental market is sparing almost nowhere and no one. You know, I really would have preferred it if you had said the rental market is sparing almost no one. Yeah, and you could have just left it like that. But listen, you're the journalist, I'm not. Okay, while the affordability crisis in the U.S. is not new, it has snowballed over the past years. People returned to big cities and some areas short on housing supply saw a boom of new residents. Demand for rentals has soared, with many would-be homebuyers backing out of the market after mortgage rates jumped this year as a result of the Federal Reserve's aggressive interest rate hikes. Now, I've explained this 100 times. The national debt is $30 trillion. The Federal Reserve has to raise interest rates because if they don't raise interest rates, inflation will continue to skyrocket. But they can't raise interest rates too high because the national debt would become unpayable and America would end up defaulting. So it's kind of like being between a rock and a hard place. Imagine that you have a credit card bill and you can barely afford to make the monthly payments. So you have to slight yourself elsewhere. But that elsewhere might be paying for, I don't know, what's a good analogy? Your bills, like heat and electricity. You know, it's a balancing act, and at the end you lose. So anyway, where are we? Tight inventory is leading to bidding wars, typically more a fixing of the home buying market. Rising costs and a shortage of available units are giving landlords the leverage to hike rents at all price points. And the end of the federal eviction moratorium, combined with dwindling rental assistance, has forced people to make tough choices. There's a girl right now I'm trying to help find a place to live. She's telling me that she has $1,300 a month that she can afford to pay. And The space that I was trying to show her soon, well, they were really looking for $88 a fucking day. Now that comes out to, I think it's like closer to 2,000. But I was like, as a personal friendship gesture, is it possible that maybe we can work something out where we could get this young girl into this place, so that this way she doesn't have to go on OnlyFans and sell her scooch just to be able to afford rent. So I'm trying to help her out. So anyway, that's the side story. I love digressing. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, it's pretty much the perfect storm for renters right now, said Kate Reynolds. Rentals, Principal Policy Associate at the Washington-based Urban Institute. Okay, I'm going to skip more of this because this shit is very wordy. Many renters who typically spend a greater share of their income on housing than homeowners are already struggling to keep up with larger bills at the grocery store and the gas station, thanks to inflation running near the highest in 4 decades. Now, it's so funny. I distinctly remember having to argue with these morons on the internet, and they were trying to tell me, oh, yeah, well, if you are a homeowner and you have a mortgage, you don't really own the home. You're just a loan owner. Okay, but then they're renting and they're paying somebody else's fucking mortgage. And that person at any given time could tell them, get the fuck out. And I ranted and raved in another video. I was like, yo, listen. Unlike my friends, when I go over to their apartments and I have to be quiet and shit because their other tenants might complain, in my house, I can make as much. You know what? Do you know what freedom is? Like, because I know a lot of y'all rent. And I'm not attacking you for renting, because I know some people didn't have the ability to buy houses. Now, some people did, but there's some people who didn't. Do you understand what freedom? Freedom means that I could get up right now. I can walk over to the wall in any of my rooms. Like for instance, I'm looking right now at the door to my bedroom. If I want to, I can get up right now and I can go over to that door and I can rip that door right off the fucking hinges. I could close the door and I could kick through it if I want to. I could say, I hate this fucking door. I'm going to beat the shit out of this door. One time that happened to me, like I got so enraged at something that I literally broke a door off the hinge. Like I punched a door and I ripped it right off the hinge. That's no joke. And the thing about it is, because I own, nobody can say anything to me. Like, you see these landlords and they be like, oh yeah, well, you can't have pets. Well, guess what? I don't have any pets, but if I wanted to, I could get a stray dog right now and make it a pet. And that dog could come in here, walk around, piss on the rug, shit on the rug, and nobody could say anything to me at all. You know how some of these landlords, like, yeah, no smoking, like you're not allowed to smoke? I've never smoked weed. I've never smoked cigarettes. I've never smoked anything. If I want, I can walk down the block right now to the store. I can get me a bong, and I have no idea how to use a bong. I could get some weed. I could get some tobacco. I could mix them. I could come right up in here, and I could smoke like a fucking Indian, and nobody can say anything at all. Like, I'm looking at my ceiling fan. You might even be able to hear it in the background. That's my ceiling fan. If I don't like that ceiling fan, I get another one. Nobody can tell me shit. I'll be goddamned if I'll ever rent on American soil. Fuck that. This is the land of ownership. I own. Whatever it is, even if I owned a cardboard box, nobody tells me what I can and can't do with my motherfucking cardboard box, ever. The land around this motherfucker I own. Nobody can tell me shit. If I want to, I'll go outside in my backyard and I'll plant daisies. I'll rip them motherfuckers up and I'll plant tulips, and there ain't shit you can say to me. That's what freedom means. That's what ownership and freedom means. When you own your shit. I could go in the backyard, I could dig that shit up and I could plant something. Anything. And there ain't nothing you can say about it. Nothing. In fact, and this is the last one because I like digressing. If I don't want anybody parked in front of my house, even though I have a very big driveway, and I can put, I could put 4 cars in my driveway. But you know what I like to do? I don't want nobody parking in front of my house. So you know what I do? I put a car right out front. And all people can do is look and be like, man, he could have put that car into the driveway. Why does he need all that space? Because it's mine. That's why. This is my toy. We're not sharing my toy. This is my toy. Right here. This is mine. So anyway, I'm sorry, man. I love being a property owner. I fucking love being a homeowner. I love it. I love it. Do you know half of the people on my block think I'm a drug dealer? They can't figure this shit out. They're like, how the fuck does this guy works like half the year. He's going on these vacations. He's showing us these pictures. He's fucking, like, I think this guy he's either a drug dealer or he's some type of criminal or something. Like, they can't figure this shit out. Can't figure it out. So anyway, let's see. People of color. Uh-oh, here we go with that bullshit. Gee, let me look at my skin. Oh, you know what? It's black. Uh-oh, what does it say about me? People of color and those with lower income. Well, I don't have a lower income. Who are you talking about? Anyway, people of color and those with lower incomes are the most affected by the increases in rent prices, since they account for the majority of renters. Yeah, well, y'all need to get your weight up. If I could do it, you could do it. And there's a lot of black people out there smarter than me and willing to work even harder than me. And they got theirs. So my question is, why don't you? Oh, it's because you're not showing up to work because you don't want to work. So anyway, in the U.S., about 58% of households headed by black adults rent their homes. Yep, that's true. Along with nearly 52% of Latino-led households, according to Pew Research Center analysis of census data. In comparison, about a quarter of households led by non-Hispanic white adults and a little under 40% of Asian-led households are rentals. Yeah, well, white people and Asians have enough money where they don't want nobody living with them. It's just like my mom. I told my mom, it's like, yo, mom, you've got your whole house to yourself. If you really wanted, you could rent out part of the house, but nobody wanted. First of all, I'm sure my mom doesn't want anybody living up in there with her because she doesn't trust them. But, I really, unless it was like a maid or some shit, I don't really want anybody living with my mom either because, I don't want to have no problems, because, you never know because some people be stealing shit from you. That's why I don't want nobody in my house. Right here, I can pick it up right now. Got an AR-15 right here. And I like having it just because I like being able to pick the shit up when I feel like picking it up. I don't have to worry about nobody searching through my shit. I don't have to worry about nobody looking for gold or looking for money or anything or looking for my safe. I don't have to worry about nobody taking my Desert Eagle and selling it on the black market. I ain't got to worry about none of that because ain't nobody up in here. I got the security system, and sometimes I like to just walk around my house naked. Sometimes I like to walk around my house with my AR right here, and I just like to walk around and pretend I'm patrolling the property. That's my fucking business if I want to do that. You know why? Because it's America, and I'm free. But if you're a landlord, you can tell somebody that they can't do what they want to do. You can tell them, yeah, well, you're not allowed, the Homeowners Alliance. Yeah, you're not allowed to walk around on your property. You're not allowed to fire off fireworks on your property. You're not allowed to park. You've got 3 cars? Yeah, well, you got to keep one. You got to keep all 3 of them in the yard. I ain't got time for that bullshit. Listen, I tell you, if you don't own, you better own. That's the bottom line. You better own. So anyway, the problem is being felt around the world, too. A recent analysis by Bloomberg Economics found that 19 OECD countries have combined price to rent and home price to income ratios that are higher now than they were ahead of the 2008 financial crisis, indicating that prices have moved out of line with fundamental. No shit. Okay, this gets really, really, really wordy. You can read this all yourself. I can give you the link. It says single-family rents rose by a record 14% nationally. Yeah. Well, I mean, I live in New York City. It's extremely expensive here, so I've seen this. Here's a nice chart. It says occupancy rates tick down, but are still the highest in at least 20 years. Yeah. More renters than usual are staying put in their homes. People can't freely move around because everything is so tight right now. See, that's one of the things about Democrats. Democrats love scarcity. This is what you get when you vote for Democrats. You get scarcity. And when you get scarcity, you have people literally at each other's throats. People at each other's throats for everything. People at each other's throats for baby formula. You know, and I hope to God in November they get wiped out. I really do. I really, really do. I hope to God they get wiped out. Or at least I hope they lose their majorities and their supermajority. No, first of all, I hope they get wiped out. I know some of them are safe and they'll keep some of their jobs, but I just want to see them get wiped out. I really do, in the worst way. If I wake up the day after Election Day and find out the Democrats got their asses wiped out, I'm going to sleep better that day. Okay, so let's see. The steepest increase out of the 20th large metro areas studied by CoreLogic, median asking rent in the city of, Miami, is now $2,488 a month. So that is, what is that? That's $480 more than the mortgage that I had on my second house. Miami native Gabriella Noah Betancourt didn't see her current apartment in person until the day she moved in. Yeah, some of these people are so desperate just to get into a place that they'll just take it. They don't even feel like going there. They'll just take it and sign on whatever they can sign on just to get there. That's desperation. That's what that is. Oh, look at this tool. His name is Denny Keener. He's a photographer, so I don't know if he's in the... It says, when Denny Keener's apartment rent in Las Vegas rose for the first time in over 4 years on March 1st, his plan was to work extra shifts at the bartending job at the Dolby Live Theater. 7 days later, he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer and had to stop work. I'm very sorry to hear that. Now he's 2 months late on his rent and at risk of eviction. The monthly rent on his one-bedroom, 720-square-foot apartment rose to $1,000 from $750. I'm very sorry to hear that, Denny. Keener, 58, used to earn about $6,000 a month, including tips, but he has now exhausted medical leave, and starting in August, his income will drop to $1,321 in monthly Social Security disability benefits. He has been looking for more affordable options, but he hasn't been able to find anything in his price range. The Southern Nevada Housing Association is so saturated with requests for Section 8 housing benefits, a program that offers rental assistance to low-income households, that he cannot even register for the wait list. You know, and these are the issues right here. These are the issues. And it goes on. They're like, this is long as fuck, man. This shit is like a PhD paper or something. It's like one of those theses or something. But y'all get the point. Rent is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare right now. But that's not all that we really have to worry about. It's not just rent. Student loans, rent, credit, mortgages. The rabbit hole is going to get very, very, very deep very, very soon. I think the student loan situation is a perfect allegory as to the reason why government is not supposed to be involved in private contracts. Ultimately, when I say private contracts, I mean that taking out a loan is supposed to be between a student, and it's supposed to be between them and the lender. And in this case, the lender should be just a bank. And in this case, you're supposed to have a bank that actually has this money on hand to lend out. This bank is supposed to do its due diligence to make sure that the student that it's giving this money to is worthy of that debt, that they can pay back that debt, and they put together a contract, a promissory note in this case, which basically says, yeah, I'm going to borrow this money and I'm going to pay you back. Unfortunately, because government did exactly what they did with home loans, and they insure bad loans, and they've insured bad student loans, Well, now you have a situation where people are taking out money, not caring how much they take out. If the college says, yeah, well, it's going to cost you $10,000 in tuition, it's going to cost you $5,000 for a dormitory fee, and that's every single semester, then you multiply that 15,000 times, I don't know, 6 semesters. Whatever you come out with, plus taxes, plus fees, plus interest, that's just what you come out with. Before you know it, you're $100,000 in debt. I had read about a few days ago, I guess maybe about a week ago, that the plan was that, because as you know, they have not announced whether or not student loan payments are going to resume. Today is August 18th, and student loan payments are supposed to resume this September, very soon. Like you're talking about less than 12 days, maybe 13 days from now. And when those payments resume, by the end of September, you're supposed to be paying them back. The plan that I saw, because I've seen multiple plans floating around, they said that what they were planning to do was they were going to allow people a chance to return their credit to good standing. Now, I've told my story a million times. I'm not going to tell it again. So I'm just going to give you the very short version of it. When I graduated from college, I had a 500 credit score, and I had about $30,000 worth of debt. And I had to get a second job, and I even did journalism on the side, basically YouTube and ePinionshopping.com. And that allowed me to divert so much money towards that debt that I was able to pay it off relatively early. Now, there was also some level of forgiveness that I got for, basically I had to do volunteer servicing for like 5 years, which is something that they usually offer people in the tech fields, medical, law, whatever it be. You have to work indentured servitude. And that actually allowed me not to have to take out more debt. That allowed me to get a small amount of, forgiveness. And it allowed me to get my first master's. My second master's I paid for out of pocket to the tune of $18,000. But one of the things that I realized while I was working on that first master's was not to take out more debt. I had, for a long period of time, started using my debit card, and I started basically paying as I go. One thing I realized is when you get your debts forgiven, it's really easy for you to go out and create more debt, because basically the burden that's been lifted off of you sets off like a switch in your brain that says, you know what? Oh, well, I no longer owe this much money, so you know what? I can go out and spend this much money on something that I really wanted. Now, with Generation Z and the upcoming Generation Alpha, debt, just like it is for Millennials, is going to be a very big problem, but it's going to be much bigger down the road. You've got Generation Alpha starting out with $30 trillion worth of national debt, and that means that they themselves have an implicit mortgage on their head. Now, how they pay it, whether it's by work or whether it's by taxes, they're all going to have an implicit mortgage on their head, and it's going to keep on growing. Every single American citizen, as I've already said, your job is to basically take on as much of that national debt as you can without capsizing. This story here, giving student loan borrowers behind on payments a chance to return to good standing, is literally the definition of insanity, a top Republican lawmaker says. So this here is Education Department has a plan to return student loan borrowers in default to good standing. GOP Rep Virginia Fox said doing so would be insanity because it would give them access to more debt. Basically, what you're talking about is car loans, because at this point, none of them would be able to qualify for home loans. Even if they did have the opportunity to take out home loans, they still wouldn't be able to do it simply because they don't have the credit, they don't have the credit history, and they don't have the income. It says, per the department, borrowers would have a year after the payment pause expires to access the benefits. A leading Republican lawmaker is once again not thrilled with Joe Biden's plans to expand student loan relief. See, and I've said this 100 times, the Democrats' problem is November's coming. A large percent of their voting base is getting creamed by their student loan payments. And even though they're paused, those payments are still sitting above them like an albatross tied around their neck. They can't take out loans. They can't take out home loans. They can't take out car loans because what they have is a very high debt to income ratio. They have a lot of debt. They have a little bit of income. After extending the student loan payment pause through August 31st in April, Biden's education department also announced a Fresh Start plan to give 7.5 million borrowers behind on payments or in default a chance to return to good standing upon entering repayment. On Wednesday, the Federal Student Aid Office released additional details on what that plan would entail. But top Republican on the House Education Committee, Virginia Foxx, isn't on board. The department's so-called Operation Fresh Start plan gives delinquent student loan borrowers the keys to borrow even more without any assurance they can afford to do so. Fox said in a statement, "It's literally the definition of insanity. It's also wrong. If these individuals were unable to pay back their loans the first time they borrowed, how will giving them access to more debt help? This is a terrible gamble, one for which taxpayers will end up paying the price. According to federal student aid, defaulted borrowers will have at least 1 year once the payment pause ends to make payment arrangements before defaulting on their debts and or being subject to further collection efforts like most other borrowers eligible for the payment pause. During that time, eligible borrowers will regain access to income-driven repayment plans." Now, I'm going to stop right there with this income-driven repayment plans. If you looked at the story that I read to you of that doctor, I may try to revisit that if I can. She was on an income-driven repayment plan from the 80s till now, and her debt gradually grew to the point where at one point she owed, I think it was like $500,000, and it kept on growing, and now she owes like $900,000. The problem with income-driven repayment plans is, in my opinion, it's kind of the same problem with minimum wage. If you tell me that I owe such and such, and you're going to allow me to just pay a bare minimum of like $100 a month, I'm going to just pay the bare minimum, even if I could afford to pay more. As time goes on, my debt is basically just going to keep on growing. Now, I could have paid more. I could have tried to cancel out this debt earlier, but I didn't bother doing it because you gave me the option to pay less. When they go by income-driven repayment plans, it really doesn't incentivize the person who's borrowed to do as much as they can to clear this debt. And I'm also seeing a lot of other agencies talking about income-driven repayment plans being a trap. Here's the sad reality, Democrats. Since y'all don't live in the world of reality, here's the sad reality. There's $1.7 trillion worth of student loans. I saw this problem coming years ago by the time I'd paid off mine. That ultimately what was going to happen was you were going to have an entire generation, which we call now Generation Z, followed by Generation Alpha. And they wouldn't be able to balance student loans, and using these shitty jobs and shitty income, they would never be able to balance student loans, a car loan, and a home loan. They'd never be able to balance it. And sure enough, it's coming to fruition. That's where we are. That's just where we are. Our jobs have been outsourced. The factories are in other countries. I hear there's layoffs. Somehow Ford decided that they're going to lay off like 10,000 people. All of these bullshit internet companies, there is no longevity in these things. If you work there, you're a gig worker. They're laying people off left and right. The sad thing about it is I've noticed a lot of these millennials and a lot of these Generation Zs and a lot of these Generation Alphas who are upcoming, they don't want to do any civil service. They want to have jobs where they get to not show up, where they get to stay home, sit behind a computer, play fucking video games, and maybe every now and then peek their head up to do a little bit of work. They want to be sitting at home behind computer screens where nobody knows whether or not they're actually paying attention to the meeting or what they're supposed to be doing. They want to not have to get on the bus and get on the train and make their way to work. These people, a lot of them have gotten so comfortable with this work from home thing, thanks to the pandemic, that they think that that should never end. I'm hearing more and more, a lot of jobs, there are people who are literally not showing up just because they don't think the pay is worth it. And I totally understand that, because a long time ago, I actually quit a job. I worked at Best Buy and they weren't paying me enough and I didn't think it was worth it. I just didn't show up, and I didn't give them the 30 days notice either. I just said, fuck it, I'm not coming. And had I had it to do all over again, I might have done things differently. But the thing about it is I was pissed off because I felt, number one, I didn't think they were paying me enough. Now, this was while I was in college. And I also felt that I wasn't respected. And for me to go in there and curse out a manager, that wouldn't be a good look. But for me to not show up, it wasn't going to be a good look either. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to stay home. I'm not going. So that's what's happening now. You've got a lot of people who are just ditching these jobs. Now, there's a lot of corporations who've already planned for this. They have contingency plans for people who may quit. But the simplest thing they could do is just not fucking pay you. You know, the reality is unemployment only goes but so far. And if these corporations feel that you're not willing to work, and we're getting right back into this same shit. Oh, yes, well, those are jobs that Americans are not willing to do. So what do? They just outsource these jobs. They figure out another way to get foreigners over here. They give them the jobs. Those foreigners are desperate to get over here and do that work. They come over here, they take your jobs, then you're on the fucking unemployment line crying for goddamn bread and fucking welfare. And you're making it like the American government's wrong for letting these foreigners in when you wouldn't do the job that you were supposed to do, and then you quit. You know, that's... sometimes I like telling personal stories. The reason I broke up with my girlfriend was because I helped her get a job that she decided that she just didn't feel like doing anymore, so she quit. And it wasn't even that difficult a job. It was actually a job, and I swear to God, had she stayed working on that job during the pandemic, she would have been making $100,000 or more. But as you see, there's a lot of people who just don't have the mindset of work. When it comes to the mindset of work, I have to keep reminding you what that shit is. I don't even use my alarm clock. I wake up at fucking 4 o'clock, maybe 4:30 in the morning. And by 5, I'm out of my bed. I'm in the shower by 5:05. If I'm not in the shower, I'm taking a shit at 5:05. After I take that shit, I'm in the shower by 5:10. I'm getting showered. I may or may not have anything for breakfast. I'm getting to my car. I'm out of the house by 6, driving towards the city. Through all that fucking traffic that I've showed you over and over. There's some people who are so fucking lazy that they really think that they're going to stay and live on somebody else's dime. Now, there's been people, I've told this story, I haven't really fleshed it out, but there's been people who will make fun of you and you were weak because you didn't do this and that. I'm like, yo, listen, nobody's going to fucking live off of me like a parasite. That shit's not happening. Now, it's funny because there was somebody who actually made a video about me, and believe it or not, and this is true, this person's literally a fucking prostitute. And when I say prostitute, I mean really they have sex for money. And this person made a video to attack me, like, oh yeah, well, who hurt you? It's like, nobody fucking hurt me. I wasn't going to deal with a fucking parasite. I hate the idea of welfare. If I can wake up at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning and get my ass out there to get to a fucking job every single day and never be late and never call out and never be absent, then you can do it too. And if you can't do it, then fuck you. You can starve to death. I don't give a fuck. And that's just it. That's how I feel about it. Republican mindset, you call it what you want. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. I believe the Bible says if a man don't work, a man don't eat. Well, I believe in that shit. I believe that as long as I'm ready to get up and go hunt for some food or go hunt for a paycheck, I believe that's what a man has to do to eat. So as for you motherfuckers who are sitting home in your parents' house playing PlayStation and shit while I'm out there busting my ass, nah. No. Let me tell you something. If I could turn that welfare off tonight, that would be the last fucking paycheck you see come August. If I could turn it off tonight. And all this bullshit about, oh yeah, well, we'll just rob stores and we'll just occupy Wall Street. Let me tell you something. I'd have fucking guards out there with live ammo waiting for that bullshit. Let you try that fucking shit you tried during that George Floyd riot. Let you try it. I'd have them waiting out there for you. With sniper rifle, all that shit. Oh yeah, well, we got guns too. Yeah, well, you ain't got bombs. You ain't got F-16s and shit. You ain't got F-18s. See, if you can ramp up the violence, government can ramp it up too. They're not playing that nonsense. That's why you see them arming these IRS agents right now. I know most of y'all don't pay attention to news. They're putting guns in the IRS agents' hands right now. Who do you think they're coming after? They ain't coming after me. I pay my taxes. I pay my taxes every February 21st. I pay my taxes. IRS ain't looking for me. They looking for your ass. All of y'all with that cryptocurrency shit, y'all thought y'all were going to launder money? Nah. Let me tell you something. Sooner or later, I'm going to turn on my television. I'm going to watch IRS agents going up to doorsteps, knock, knock. And then next thing you know, they got the barricade guy. And then they got that guy with that battering ram. And they just ram through your door. And they come in. What is it Biggie Smalls said? Kick in the door, wave in the 4-4. All you heard was IRS, don't hit me no more. Biggie! Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm going to be turning on CNN watching your doors getting kicked down. And they'd be like, yeah, where's that Dogecoin at? Check. Where's that Dogecoin? That's what I'm waiting for. I'm digressing way too much. So anyway, let's get back to the story. It's unclear when exactly the year of relief will begin. Given borrowers do not yet know whether the payment pause will extend beyond August 31st. But there is speculation the timeline will be pushed back. Well, considering the Democrats know that they're about to get their asses kicked this November and Liz Cheney just lost her fucking job, yeah, chances are they may try to push it back. But the thing about it is they're only going to push it back long enough for them to keep their job. After that, they don't give a fuck. They don't have to and that's really the shame of how this government works. That it's amazing. We have things that seem to expire right around the time it's time for election. Hold on, let me turn off this fucking Discord for a minute. So that's just, I'm sorry, that's just where we are. That is just where we are. But where was I? Still, when it comes to borrowers in default, officials within Biden's administration recognize the need for reform. Undersecretary of Education James Gavall recently said that borrowers who default on their loans are people who have been failed by the... What? Get the fuck out of here. People who have been failed by the policies and lagging investments in college affordability. Well, guess what, guys? The reason why college is unaffordable is because the government's involved in it. The reality is this is a supply and demand system. Colleges only have but so many seats. If they know that a lot of people are going to apply, then all they're going to do is raise the price because that helps keep you out. If I know that I only have 100 seats, I can raise the price of the seats if the demand is high enough. If nobody was applying, demand would go down, supply would go up. I would have to lower the price. But with the government involved in student loans, there is no pressure to lower prices. If you pay, it keeps my school open. If you don't pay, the government's just going to bail your ass out. That's the problem. Government doesn't operate by profit and loss statements. Government operates by raising taxes and spending money. The government is the very definition of waste. It just is. I'm sorry. You could call me a liar, but the reality is that's the truth. That's just the truth. Now, you may not see it that way. You may be one of these stupid fucking socialists that have gone to one of these bullshit liberal arts schools and gotten some nonsense liberal arts degree that didn't teach you anything, but you got through it simply because it didn't have math or didn't have science and you didn't really have to learn anything. Maybe that's so. But the bottom line is economics it's math. It doesn't give a fuck what you think. It's just math. I'm sorry. It just is. So, this whole, I'm sick and tired of people trying to tell me, oh, well, you should be more understanding. Fuck that. Because the reality is, when you do this, and you try to force this kind of government socialism shit, all it does is weaken the entire country. And we've gotten pretty goddamn weak to this point. We've gotten so weak that now we're literally drowning in debt. And the sad thing to me is that America, strangely enough, is the cleanest shirt in the hamper. We're all in the hamper, but America's still the cleanest shirt. We've got $30 trillion of debt, $1.7 trillion worth of student debt. We've got credit card debt rising for each American household, rising uncontrollably because they're not making enough money. So they're using their credit cards to supplement their income. But when you look overseas, China's got a housing crisis that seems like it's about to take down their entire their entire economy. And Russia is still flattening Ukraine. But the thing about it is all of Europe is about to freeze their asses off because they needed the gas and the oil and the natural gas and the coal from Russia. So I tell you, you're in for some serious fucking problems. But let me tell you something. You could probably hear it in the background. I got a ceiling fan up there. And I got my house. I got my roof. I got my pension coming. I got my Social Security. I got about 10 years left of this bullshit before I can retire. And once I'm retired, I'm not going to be like one of these people who goes and they start creating more debt. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to go get a new degree and I'm going to go back to school. Fuck that shit. I'm going to be on a beach on some unnamed island having some young wife serving me coconut juice. That's what I'm going to be doing. So my thing is, it's like, good luck to you and your family and your children, because I'm not playing this game. If I could leave tonight, I'd be out of here. But it's okay. I'm going to ride it out. And I'm gonna deal with my real estate. I'm gonna deal with my stocks. I'm gonna deal with my electric Cadillac, and that's that. But they're creating a situation here that is so untenable. Just like what's her name right here. She says it's insanity. That's exactly what it is. Virginia Fox said it best. Now, it's funny because I didn't really hear this on television. You know, if somebody says something really stupid or really racist or something or really sexist, yeah, you'll hear that played back ad nauseum. But they weren't going to talk about Virginia Fox and how she's saying that this whole idea of restoring people's credit is insanity. Because, see, the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand, especially these people screaming racism over credit and these people screaming sexism over credit, I think what a lot of people don't understand, credit tracks your behavior. The reason why I had 500 scores, and I'm willing to own up to it, the reason I had 500 scores is because I was ignoring Discover Card when they were calling and asking for their money. I was ignoring them. I'm a man, I'll admit it. That shit drove my credit down, and it put me into, what is it called? What is that fucking word called? It put me into, there's a judgment against me, and the court was garnishing my wages when I started working. Put me into garnishment. Put me into default. But that's my fault. I was buying stuff with my credit card, and when Discover was calling me, I was ignoring their ass. Like I was hanging up. It wasn't until years later of working that I was able to pay back Discover from the garnishment. That was $5,000. And I was able to pay back the other credit card bills that I owed and the student loans. And it took time and it took a plan to pay it back. Here's the problem. Most of you have no plan. And the money that you are getting, you're wasting. Because, I will say this, there's also a big difference. Because, see, I didn't have crazy-ass cell phone bills, and I didn't have crazy-ass cable bills to pay while I was working back all of this debt. Like, I was able to budget. I was using a cheaper cell phone, and I had less bills because there were certain things I just didn't have. Like, for a very long time, I didn't have cable television. And when I got a cell phone, when I first started using a cell phone, those fucking things were prepay. they were literally prepay. I had a Motorola StarTAC. I had a Nextel I had a cheap ass Nextel. I had one of those Nextels. The shit wasn't even a flip. Like it was just like a hand, like a big silver hand radio. I can't even remember the number of the damn thing. It was cheap. It was like $50. Well, today it would be like $5, but bottom line is, it was like I wasn't living luxury. I was putting all my money towards these debts. I wasn't buying Gucci. I wasn't buying Femi. I wasn't buying Prada. I wasn't rolling around in a fucking Bentley or nothing like that. Shit. No. No. I had to put all my money to the debt. A lot of y'all aren't willing to do that. Y'all think that y'all are going to live this lavish lifestyle. Y'all think that y'all are going to keep your Xbox Live and your PlayStation Online active. Y'all think you're going to keep paying Netflix, Disney, and Hulu. Y'all think y'all are going to keep buying Gucci, Femi, and Prada. Y'all think that y'all are going to, what else do y'all do? Keep paying Netflix. Y'all think that listen, you're taking your money. Y'all think you're going to buy the newest iPhone and the newest Android, the flip phones. It's like, no, it doesn't work that way. You got to sacrifice. That's the word I haven't heard enough people say that word. So the bottom line is, I agree with Virginia Fox. I definitely, see, that's the thing. When you start really working and you start making money and you start seeing like other people not doing that, that turns you into a Republican almost overnight. And even if it doesn't make you a complete Republican, you start to gain that ideology. And rightfully so. Nobody wants to work while parasites live on their back. Nobody. And I don't respect anybody who parasitizes someone else. I don't respect that shit. And I know some people don't care what I'm saying, but guess what? You're the ones who are going to be fucked when you wake to that, when you go to that mailbox and ain't nothing in it from the government. You didn't get those stimulus checks to put into Dogecoin? You didn't get those stimulus checks to put into Bitcoin this year? Yeah, it's like, whether you like what I'm saying or not, I don't give a goddamn. But the bottom line is, eventually you're going to walk to that mailbox, there's going to be nothing in there. And when you're, where's my money? You'll be like, no, well, there's the employment line right over there, sir. Just walk over there, get on that line, and you need to fill out some paperwork. Nah, man, this shit is insane. I mean, people literally just, like, they're quitting essential jobs because they don't feel like working. It's like, fuck that. It's time for your ass to go back to work. So, if student loans decides that they're going to do an indentured servitude thing, because first of all, let me just say it like this. Regardless how you feel about what I'm saying, there's some simple mathematics and simple economics. There ain't no way the government can simply discharge $1.7 trillion. That can't happen. There's no way to discharge it to. We've made enemies out of all of the countries we could possibly borrow money from. China is ready to fight us over Taiwan. Russia's fighting us right now over fucking Ukraine. There's nobody else. UK is going through massive inflation. I think their inflation is past 12% at this point. It's gotten so bad that the euro is on parity with the dollar right now. We have nobody to get the money. We can't borrow the money. There's nobody to get it from. And there sure as fuck ain't $1.7 trillion to get it from. And even if China could lend us that kind of money, they got a housing hole over there with this Evergrande thing. And Evergrande was just one out of 30 companies, at least 30 companies. They're expecting that their housing crisis, they may have to nationalize their whole housing crisis. Like, their government may literally have to spend $4 trillion to bail out their housing. You think they got $1.7 trillion to lend America, and they about to fight us over fucking Taiwan? Why do you think Nancy Pelosi rushed over there to Taiwan to make sure that her stocks were all straight, to make sure she sold her position? Why do you think? Because they're afraid that if China takes over Taiwan, that America would have to negotiate directly with China for these computer chips. Why do you think they passed that CHIPS Act? You see, y'all don't pay attention to this shit. Y'all too busy watching this bullshit on The View and watching this nonsense, these sports shows and shit. Nah, I ain't got time for that. I'm paying attention to what this fucking government is doing so I can set my money aside like a squirrel. And when it comes time to get the fuck out of here, it's like I'm going to be on a beach somewhere with some young wife, and she's going to be serving me the buko juice. So when we're talking about student loans, I'm pointing out in a couple of different stories that one of the ideas that the Biden administration has is ultimately to use the student loan pause and the repayback plans as a way to jumpstart repairing of people's credit. Now, there was a story that was on August 15th, and usually what I do is I put these stories in Discord, and I usually save them in order. So the story was, which generation has the most debt and the worst credit scores? Hint, it's not millennials. Well, it's obvious that it's Generation Z, because Generation Z comes right after millennials. And I knew that as soon as I started reading this, because the problem with millennials is millennials are a large age group, but the interesting thing about millennials is we actually went through multiple financial crises. We went through, obviously we made it through the 80s with Reaganomics because we were born in the 80s, like I was born in 81. Then we saw 9/11 with our own eyes, which in and of itself was a financial crisis. Then, in 2008, we had another financial crisis. I should also mention that in 2005, we had Hurricane Katrina, which caused, the fuel price explosion because we weren't producing oil in the Gulf. So you had 2005, 2008, and then after that, you had the bailouts of 2009. And then after that, now we're, in the pandemic, which lasted, from 2020. Basically, it's still ongoing now. So we've seen a whole lot. But the thing about it is it's tempered us, and I think it's made us a little bit stronger because some of us, not the ones who fucked up, but some of us were able to make a lot out of ourselves because I have to say back then in the 80s, we were very well educated. We didn't have all this bullshit going on now that they got in these liberal institutions where they've got these kids confused as to whether they're boys or girls. And then on top of that, we're not busy wasting our time with soft subjects. We were mostly trained in science or math or vocations and technology. Now that STEM is kind of making a comeback, that's good. Unfortunately, now Generation Z is up against all these foreigners. STEM is light years ahead of what we have here in America in other countries, because in other countries, they're learning it from a disciplinary point of view. We're learning it from a hands-on point of view, but they're learning the discipline behind it. And the perfect example of that, which I'll get to later, is the fact that you've got a lot of people who are literally quitting their jobs. Like in other countries, these people can barely eat. But here you've got people who are wasting money and then not showing up to work. But before I go to that, let me just get through this story real quick because it's not that long. Generation X continues to struggle with debt while millennials and baby boomers are making positive strides. Okay, I was going to say Generation Z because Generation Z comes after millennials, but Generation X came right before millennials, but it also came right between us and the baby boomers. So yeah, Generation X, I think a lot of them, I think they screwed up with credit too, but let's just see what it says. Experian State of Credit Report paints a relatively healthy picture for Americans, with the average credit score rising from 673 to 675. Ooh, wow, 2 points over the 12 months ending last June. The highest since 679 in 2007 before the Great Recession began. Consumer confidence is up sharply, and the Federal Reserve said this week that credit card debt hit a new record in November. That's a good sign for consumer spending. That's a bad fucking sign. What do you mean that's a good sign? Consumer spending does not build your economy. Production builds your economy. Consumer spending is debt. That hurts your economy. Only in a sick, twisted narrative do we have consumer spending building our economy. See, the reality is productivity is everything. No poor man ever spent himself into wealth. I don't know if you can name one, but no impoverished man ever spent himself into wealth. When you spend and you're poor, you only go deeper into debt. Anyway, let's keep going. So they're talking about these other stories. Retirement crisis, 37% of Generation X say they won't be able to afford to retire. Yeah, well, I don't know what y'all were doing because I'm a millennial and I'm right below you and I'm getting ready to retire. I don't know what y'all were doing. Credit card debt hits new record. Okay. Why carrying a credit card balance isn't a bad thing. Fuck that. You see that bullshit that they're talking about? They're trying to convince you to carry credit card balance. The answer is no. If you ever want to have credit like mine, where you got an 850 that you could literally scream at anybody about and talk about, you can show it right now. I'll show you an 850. No, you do not carry balances. When you carry balances, what that means is that you're paying interest. I do not pay interest. You know, a long time ago, I heard, and somebody could fill me in on this, I heard that the Jews and Muslims don't pay interest because apparently it's a religious thing and they don't pay interest. And I know in the Bible it says neither a borrower nor a lender be, but obviously in this world that's kind of, not going to happen. The Christian Bible anyway. But I heard that their banks, they don't pay interest. Well, I've resigned myself. I'm not paying interest either. It's like I'm not paying it. Now, there are some exceptions. Like there's some ways that you can't get around it, but bottom line is on these credit cards, I ain't paying interest. I'm not doing it. Call me Lefkowitz. So anyway, Generation Z, ages 18 to 20, have a 634 average. Millennials, 21 through 34, those are the ages. But, okay, they have a 638 average. So, okay, Generation Z is 634. Millennials 638. Oh, by the way, they also call millennials Generation Y. Now, why they don't mention Generation Y, I don't know, but that's another term for millennials is Generation Y. Generation X, 35 to 49, they have average credit score of 658. So we've got, Generation X has higher average credit than millennials do. So I was absolutely right when I started this. Generation Z has the worst credit score. That's because they're young. That's because they're in school. That's because they're taking out student loan debt right now. That $1.7 trillion in student loan debt is going to eventually be $2 trillion. There's no way to pay that back. And I know some people be like, you're too pessimistic. You're too negative. Let me tell you something. Math is fucking math. There's no way to pay it back, and there's no way to write it off. There's no way to pay it back, and there's no way to write it off. Because even with the student loan pauses, even when they pause it and they say that your interest isn't going to accrue, you still don't see any dents being made in student loans. Because people right now who are on that pause, the vast majority of them are not saving their money for some huge balloon payment. They're using that money because they have no choice. Gas prices, food prices, rent increases. I was reading a story a little while ago. I might even bring it up right now about Texas and how rent has increased in Texas. And that's just one microcosm of what's happening in the rest of this country. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You think that they're going to get rid of $1.7 trillion? Well, what happened to all the students who graduated this year who just started taking out loans for September? What happens to the students next year who have to take out loans for January, next June? Let me just stop. Okay, millennials, and then right after that, you got Generation X. Baby boomers have an average of a 703. Okay. It says Generation X is saddled with the highest average mortgage debt. And that makes a lot of sense because Generation X came before the millennials. However, Generation X actually had a head start because when they bought their houses were cheaper because we didn't really see the explosions in the housing prices until after 2001, like when we had 9/11. I specifically remember looking at my uncles and my aunts. One of my aunts, she bought a brownstone for less than $170,000. While interest rates were still high, they were like between 7 and 10. But she bought that house for less than $170,000. And right now, her brownstone retails for $3 million. And you could probably squeeze out a little bit more if you demanded it. But she can rent out her basement for $3,000 a month. And that's no joke. I don't even have to cap because it's not mine. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just saying, that's what it is. I have an uncle. He got his house for less than $150,000. That same house that he sold it for almost $475,000. And then he moved into a house that was basically falling apart, and he rebuilt the house. And right now, if you saw that house, you'd be like, my God, I can't believe people live like this. Here in New York, you have this? Wow. And needless to say, it's a big house, and it's a nice house. But the reality is they had a head start in that generation. They had a head start over me, and they damn sure had a head start over Generation Z. Okay, so baby boomers, they still have substantial mortgage debt at an average of 188. Here's my thing. What the fuck were these people doing all this time? See, here's the problem. What they don't want to talk about is they don't want to talk about the fact that a lot of these people modified their mortgages. They took out more debt so that they could buy nice things, so that they could have fun, so that they could do stuff. And I'm not going to be unfair. Some of them took out debt because they had health problems. Some of them actually ended up going bankrupt because of health issues and health problems and whatnot. Even if you deliver a baby right now, delivering a baby supposedly costs like $10,000 or something. That's why, like, if I have children, I'm going to probably do it overseas, because the thing about it is this country's health system is fucked up. And I would rather knock up some foreign girl and she could, have the kids over there. And this way it'll cost less to, have the children and then send them to school. But I'll worry about that when it comes time. I'll worry about that. But anyway, silent generation. These are the people who are old and dying, the 70 plus. People like, Biden and Nancy Pelosi. Their average mortgage debt is surprisingly high. No, it's not, because they kept taking out fucking money. They kept modifying their mortgages. Because, what is this reverse mortgage you're telling me about? Oh, yes, sir. Well, if you sign right here on the dotted line, we'll get you a credit card so you can pay for your pills. Shit. So this is the story. That's the story right there. So the silent generation has a 729. Now, mind you, I have 850. So I'm doing better than the silent generation. I love bragging about that. I fucking love it. I can't stop because I love it. I just love it. I can't wait. Man, I can't wait till either I buy my next property or I go pick up my Cadillac. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Most people don't think like that. They're like, oh, God, I got to go and I got to spend this money. I'm like, no. I'm going to have some fun. Fuck it. Let's see. So Generation X, 35 to 49. Their average credit score is 658. And Millennials are average at 638. So, yeah, it just goes down as you go to the top. But that's where we are, guys. That's where you are. That is where we are. It's always important to know exactly where you are. This way you know what the next step is.